Hello, everyone. This is Dwayne Golden, and tonight I'm here by myself, but it's okay because I'm in good company with you. I see we've got people from all over. We've got our friends from Scotland, Australia, Texas. Let me see who all's in here. Wow, we've got Pennsylvania, Hawaii. I don't know where everybody's from, but it's good to see you. Atlanta, Georgia. It's a pleasure to see each of you. Tonight's a special webinar for me, specifically, because I'm going to share something with you that most people don't like to, well, I should say they don't share it, often because they don't know, other times just because they don't think people would get it. So I'm going to share it with you all about this engagement process. So typically, guys, and I do see everything you're saying, Rod, Neil, David, Roe, Jerry, everyone. I see what everyone's saying, but I want to do this. I'm going to ask you all tonight, if I have your permission to start as early as possible. I want to start right now, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure you can hear me okay. If you can hear my voice okay and see me okay, type in the number 1, and we'll get going. Oh, Dr. Harper's here. Good to see you, man. You're just the guy. Good. I'm glad you're here because I want to ask you a question too. One of the things I'm going to lead off with tonight is just some examples about what happens when people don't understand this engagement process. But as we're beginning, go ahead and type in the number 1. If you could hear me okay, you could see Charles and I okay, that would be important because like I said, tonight's going to be something special. It's not going to be the longest in the world, but it certainly will give you some great insight on the direction you ought to be heading if you're looking to make money, whether it's using webinars, sales of any types, email messaging, launching a product. This is essential. Great, they can hear us okay. So I'm going to dive in, Charles, and I'm going to need your help a little bit. I'm going to ask you, first of all, to reach back with me, if you will, maybe 7-8 months ago. We attended a conference in California, and we were talking about, some upcoming webinars, inviting some guests on. And there was, I think we're about to have dinner. We're standing outside, a crowd of internet marketers. Turn my camera down a little bit. Me or Charles? Is my camera up? Oh, is that funny? Oh, it's up in the air? Wow, you guys are good. Hang on a second. Let me fix that. Thank you. You guys don't want to see my bald spot too much. Okay. So now, let me come back to it. Charles, I know you remember this. We were talking about inviting some people in for the guests if they have a good quality product. And the question we were asked is, well, we heard the conversation. Oh, they don't see you, Charles. How's that possible? We don't hear you for sure. There's no voice. I see you clearly. They don't see you. I see you, bro. No voice, though. Much better. I think they see you now. They said much better. Uh-oh, but I definitely am going to need voice, though. But I'm going to tell them what happened. Oh, there it goes. I heard something. It clicked. No, I don't hear you anymore. It went away. No. Okay, here we go. They said you're in the witness protection program. They see you now, buddy. They see you now. Okay, but they don't see me because I'm not showing my camera. I have it on, Charles. That's why. You guys are funny, man. Anyway, Charles, you can nod your head. We were in California. Someone approached and said, listen, I said, I love your product. I love this stuff, working with Kindles. I love working with Amazon. I'll gladly have you on. And he says, okay, I'm just trying to think about my offer. What kind of offer I can give where I can sell something for $2,000? I'm like, what? You wanna use someone else's platform to launch a $2,000 product. And it's just not the way this stuff works. You want to sell to people, you want to engage them. I'm going to get to that, but let me just finish this up. I've actually attended a lot of events over the years, and here's something I see in common. You have a speaker in front of the room who has an amazing product. amazing product and most beautiful slides you've ever seen. But because of different dynamics, the people are not engaged. And when it's time to sell something at the back of the room, when it's over, it's anemic. There's an anemic response. It doesn't mean the product's not good. Doesn't mean the presentation wasn't off the charts. I want to teach you guys something that's going to change your life. And it's all about engagement. So here's my question. Can you hear me, Charles? No voice. It's never happened before. It's okay. But while you're working on it, I want to do this. I want these guys to understand something. Some of you guys, how many of you guys will be honest enough to say, you know what? I've always struggled. I don't know why. Somebody else sends out an email. Charles, I hear you now, baby.
Oh, you hear me? Okay, good.
Whoa, you're loud. Yeah, turn it down, baby. Turn it down a little bit. Yeah. How many of you guys, you struggle with this? You say, somebody sends out an email. I take the exact same swipe. I send it out. Nobody buys. Or someone comes up with a new cool thing. I saw it working for them. I tried it, and it doesn't work for me. How many of you, that happens, you'll be honest enough to say, you know what, I've tried it. I mean, everybody in the sun's buying it, but nobody's buying it for me, or maybe just one or two. Type in the number 2 if that's you. And while they're typing it in, Charles, maybe you can help, in this concept about this idea of where a lot of people in sales go wrong because there is no engagement between the presenter, seller, and the listeners, receivers. What have you noticed? I mean, we were out there together, and I was like, we're wearing your ear out. Let's hear your perspective.
Yeah, well, let's just go back specifically to the conference. At that time, I mean, people who really, and it's not mysterious, right? There were people who really made an effort to try to make you feel a part of their presentation. Yes. And it wasn't it would be the same as if I'm talking to you in your living room, Dwayne, and you and I are sitting down, and then I'm talking about Chicago, I'm talking about Harrisburg, and then I'm kind of talking generally, but I never look at you. I never really reach out to you, and I never ask you, Dwayne, have you ever been to Chicago? Have you ever been to Harrisburg? All of those things really do matter. And the people who were really successful, I think, at least making people making people want to buy their things, they really were trying to get them involved in the presentation. So,
yeah. Well, here's the thing about it. What we're going to share tonight, we're going to talk about tonight, it's something all of you have at your fingertips. I've got one guy that says, man, I don't know why everybody seems to go over to that person and say happy birthday to them, and nobody says it to me. They don't know what's going on behind closed doors. It may be, man, my friend was going to do the exact same event or webinar, but nobody showed, and everyone seems to like what yours doing. His is better. I'm going to help you out here. The engagement process is important in every part of your life. And when you can transfer it from your marriage, from your interaction with your kids, from your neighborhood cookout to your business, you're just going to change your life. When you can tonight, I'm going to show you, when you can stop talking at people from this day forward and engage with them, it will change your entire life. Forget Weber. Yeah, it's going to change your sales, no doubt about it. And I'm going to explain why, but I want you to hang in there with me. Now, Charles, many of these guys probably they've wondered, if anybody's been on the webinars over the last 10 years, you've heard this comment. And if you were on my conference calls further than 10 years ago, you were hearing the same thing. If you hear me okay, type in the number 1. Number 2, I do that because I don't want to sit up and just talk at you. I want to make sure we're both doing something here, that we're engaging each other. You're talking to me and let me know, okay, I got you, I can hear you. And then, of course, I'm talking back to you. Charles is talking to you, you're talking back. And the reason we do this is because it's useless for us to think we could take something that's taken years for us to become, transform it to you, transport it to you without engagement. I mean, what do the kids do when the parents talk to them? Whatever. Parents get mad. They don't care what the kid's saying back. So they just get it all off their chest and there's no engagement, right? But what I'm going to share with you is so powerful. And Charles, it goes back to Thomas Stanley, my man, right? The great Thomas Stanley book, Networking with Millionaires,
Right.
life-changing. And you guys deserve the results. So I'm going to tell you this before as we get going. I want to say, let me see it, Charles.
Yeah, we listen to the audio version. This is the book version. It's still available.
Is it still available? I thought it was discontinued.
No, it's not.
Life-changing. And Charles, I want to say this goes back to 17 years ago, maybe, or longer, that we went through this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But here's what I'm going to tell everybody tonight. The engagement process is like this. And I'm gonna break it down in the steps. I'm not using slides tonight intentionally because I want to make sure we are here. Okay? It should be that when you interact with people in your life, their life should not be the same, and they will always remember who you are. And there's some ways of doing that, and it does involve engaging. And engaging always helps when you do the following. So first of all, what will help you to engage if you're not good at it, if you don't have empathy? If you're the guy or girl who waits till it's your birthday to hope for someone's going to give you a birthday wish, no wonder people at an anemic, alarming numbers reach out to you to wish you that love. Because your engagement the rest of the year, unfortunately, smells to high heaven. Don't worry, I'm going to come to the money, but this is where the money comes from. I'm just trying to tell you. I sit back and I look at Sunday morning before church, after exercising and before church, Charles. That's between 6 and 7 a.m. I'm going through the iChat. I drop a line on a person I haven't talked to at least, I think, a year, 6 months to a year. Just want to drop some love on you and say, what's happening, man? I wish all well with you and looking forward to seeing you again soon. Drop a line on a nephew. Hey, nephew, saw a picture of you and your girlfriend on Facebook. See, I don't have to make it public. My engagement, I want to show that it's authentic. So I don't have to, it's not for everybody else. Some of you guys, you engage. And I saw some really ugly engagement this week, but you guys engage, but it's really for public showing, right? And you can do that too, but I'm going to help you where the money's at, and I'm getting to it, so be patient with me. Drop a line on the nephew, sister-in-law, old friend. If I found your name in the booklet that day, I do this randomly throughout the week in my life. I make sure that the love that I bestow in me, that if someone, now listen to Charles, this is going to blow your mind what I'm about to share with you. I'm going to see if I can open up and share my screen. Now, I don't like to do this because it ain't my style, but I think I better do it because when I get to the money, you guys are really going to get it. You're going to say, aha. That's what you're going to say. So there's a good old friend. You know Ben Pavlo, by the way?
Yeah, yep, I know Ben.
Ben's a good guy. Ben, I met him, Charles. I'm going to tell you guys how I met him. And I want to say it's about maybe 8 or 10 years ago. He walked into an event that I was doing for nonprofits, I think, or something like that. I don't remember what kind of event it was. But it was an event that he walked up to me at the end, and I thought he was going to shoot me. He had his hand in his pocket like this. He had his hand in his coat pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. And he had a very serious look. And this dude looks serious, right, Charles?
Ben is a serious looking dude.
Yeah, he looks very serious. Ben walks up to me and he says, hey, and he paused. I'm thinking, oh boy, I'm ready to dive, move, scat, you know, because I'm a younger man, right? I'm right about 40 years old. So I'm like, what's up? And he goes, hey, does this stuff work? And I go, well, I'm not going to make any promises. It works if you apply it. The stuff I was teaching is based on principles. And principles only work when you apply those principles, right? Gravity makes no difference if you're not going to put yourself in a position where you can be, right? So I did one of those deals. He goes, okay, well, I'll take everything you got. I'm like, okay, fine. I was still suspicious of the dude because he had that look, right? And he just says, you know, I'm a carpenter. I do so-and-so work, and I really love this internet stuff. I want to learn it. Now, here's what's powerful, guys. Now, I'm telling you that on purpose. I met him at events first, then conference calls. In fact, he came to the event because he was on conference calls and then webinars. Now watch the power of engagement. I'm going to take you to what's called iChat that I use inside of my my computer. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And I hope it allows that. I don't know if stupid thing does that or not. Let me see if I can click onto it. It may not open up because I think it only works up in web pages or something. Okay, let me try that. I think I may have it now. Let's try that. And if not, I'm going to read it to you because I want you to understand something. Here's what happens when you can transform customers to not being customers. You're engaging like I do with you guys, Jonathan, Neil. Now, I don't know. Neil, I bet you, I don't know how many years I've known you, but I've seen you around, right? Vern, the same thing. A lot of you guys I know not because I sold something, you open an email. No, but we've engaged over the years. And if it's not just in the webinars, it's in emails. It's you being the person on the other end. Now, here's what I'm going to do, Charles. I'm going to read it because Google doesn't allow that. That makes me angry. So let me go ahead. And I'm going to, okay, here we go. All right, here it goes. 10/10 was the date, right? 10/10, here we go. And the last time I talked to him before that was July. I'm going to snapshot it because I love you. All right, here we go. Here we go. By the way, so if you're not sure, I just snapshot it, so I'm going to be able to put it on my what do you call this? My browser. And now don't worry, it's worth it anyway. You're here in the webinar tonight to learn about engagement. You're going to learn it in a powerful way because when I plug in the money for you, you're going to say, aha. Okay, here we go. Ready, Uncle Charles?
Let's do it.
Thank you, Ray. Now, can you guys see my screen? If you can see my screen, let me know, Charles.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so good. Now, you see, what does it say? Now, I didn't know we were going to be doing this training tonight, so this has nothing to do with that. This is just me, and I have my whole window is full of these. It says, hey, man, I guess I could blow it up. Would that be easier for everybody, Charles?
No, I think you can blow it up a little bit. Yeah, it is a little small.
Okay. If you can't see it now, something's wrong with your seer. So check it out. Here we go. Hey, man, just wanted to drop you some love on you as I pray you are well. Blessings, my brother. That's all I said. Then I've got to thank you so much, right? I said, yeah, man, I was just thinking about you and what a cool dude you are, man. I stole your dance move, which I did. I actually do his dance move when I go out dancing. All right, everybody knows me, knows I love to dance. By the way, if you're not sure who this is, because he said thank you so much, I'm wondering if he even knows if this is Dwayne Golden. So I'm like, by the way, this is Dwayne, if you're not sure. That part's clear, Charles?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, so check it out. Now, watch his response and watch how I got knocked off my socks. And this is just one of many messages that day. I'm not going to walk you through all of them because I know I would just bore you to death. But if you don't get this principle, you're going to be stuck always wondering why everybody else is doing it and you're not. And I don't want that. So can you guys see the other one, the next part of the message I just put up there? It says, okay, haha, bro, you're too funny. I know it's you, bro. I am well. We have a lot of catching up to do. If you have a couple of minutes, give me a call. Now, I was taken back by this because I haven't heard from him in a long time, right? So I gave him a call. I said, what number? I gave him a call. And watch this. Let me go take this camera off of this guy. I need your eyes. I need your eyes right here. He goes, man, I don't know how you knew to just get in touch with me, but I got chills. And he was crying. He says, man, let me tell you something. I've been to a lot of events my whole life, but not a year of my life has gone by that you don't shout out and say hello. What's up? When I got a new girlfriend, you invited me over we had breakfast. I went to breakfast with you, and I know how busy you are. When I joined your MLM direct selling company, you didn't hassle me. You didn't want anything to do with it. You just let someone else handle it. You didn't want to mix it. I'm going to tell you the thing that gets me the most, Dwayne. You're the one that told me about God. I went to church and gave my life to God, and I was actually getting ready for church, and I was thinking about you because you're the one that got me started in this. I lived my whole life and never did it. Never went to church a day in my life. And he says, thank you for being the friend that you are. Now, here's where I'm going with that, Charles. That doesn't happen without the engagement process because some people might think that, or might not know that guy will get at least 4 messages like that a year. If you have been in my life and we have met and there's been interaction, we talk, period. If we only know each other by the internet, you don't get that yet because I've got, there's a ton of people. But I want you to get this. I'm going to show you where the money comes from, though. I want you to understand something. There's a difference between somebody making $1 million in sales and 25% of it's repeat. And there's a difference between that and a guy that does $1 million in sales and more than half of it is repeat sales. And here's where that comes from. I want you to get this because Charles, you and I philosophize a lot. So we talk about it, right? We talk about that. So check this out. Same morning, when I said, when I'm done my exercising, I try to just clear my chart. So check it out. I got another one on my chart. This is the last one. And the reason, don't worry. When I make the connection, you're going to go, okay, I got it. He's not trying to bore me to death. I mean, I kind of am, but no. All right. So you ready? Charles.
Let's do it.
Y'all see my screen?
We see it.
What do you see? Now this one, I'm going to lay it down for you. What you're looking at. About 6 years ago, I was doing these webinars for a company. And in that company, I mentioned that I was moving to West Palm Beach, Florida. And of course, there's this lady on there that comments after I say things. I don't know if she's a heckler or a troublemaker or not. And she goes, you must reach out to me as soon as you know that you're going to Florida because I live in West Palm Beach. And if we're going to be neighbors, maybe I can refer you to someone. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to be dealing with people who are going to be crowding up my space. That's what I was thinking. But just so happens that the Familypreneur event that we do, she came to the Familypreneur event and brought her children, her husband, and everyone. And at the same time, brought some others, and some other people came. After that event, of course, I got to meet her husband and her children. And here's what I found out. Her husband just passed away 7 months ago. That's the last time I spoke to her, right? But this morning, Sunday morning, I reach out and say, good morning, dear sister. Just wanted to drop some love on you and wish you an awesome weekend, Lisa. Right back at you, my brother from another mother, I think, because she wasn't sure if it was Dwayne Golden or not, right? Because a lot of people change their numbers a lot. My iChat stays the same, so they don't know if it's me or not. So I put, you think, ha, 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 ha. It's Dwayne Golden. Of you fondly, you may be one of the only few people I can just never get out of my head. It's a welcome and unusual kinship between us. No matter how much time passes, I wish you and your family a blessed weekend on purpose. I told her, your words are elegant, Lisa. I want to be like you when I grow up. Thanks for being a true friend. She says, you are a great teacher. Now, this woman, Charles, if I was only trying to sell something, she would have bought it and never heard from her again. But I try to engage you all. That's why we have webinars every Monday night. We don't want to want you to be the recipient end of someone. Every time someone sends an email, you're supposed to buy something. No, you are people that represent true lives, families, being between jobs, people who are dealing with real issues, real diagnoses, and you need to know whoever is engaging you in the other end and asking for a little bit of money in exchange for a lot of value, that they're genuine. So what I decided to do is I'm going to be myself in the sales process. I'm not going to try to be politically correct or like an English teacher. I'm going to be me. And then you can be you. Now watch the beauty here. I'm sure that in 10 years, Ben Pavlo has spent at least probably $4,000 with me. I don't ask him they come. I met them. They just showed up. So it's not like I was looking for that. But I don't want people coming to spend money in any of the businesses that I represent. I'm sure Charles feels the same way. If we at least don't acknowledge those people on the other end and can't give that value back. Now, here's the real true thing. Ben Pavlo signed up for one of my coaching within his second year. And you probably don't remember this, Charles. He had his first $14,000 day in his 90th day of coaching with me. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember Ben.
You remember Ben? You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Now, so it's not about the money because we're still friends, man. We're still cool. And what crazy thing is, we're still cool with you. In fact, Vern, I met you. I remember, I never met you personally. The reason I know you, Vern Rhodes, I know you from someone else's list. I did a conference. I was a guest on someone else's webinar and or conference call, and your name is so unique, it's hard to forget. So I can't forget you, right? It's crazy how this works, right, Charles? Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tie in the money. So I'm going to tell you something. It is not uncommon. It is not uncommon. And I'm going to give you the formula. I'm going to give you how it works. So if you have a webinar and you're trying to sell something and everyone on it is a stranger and there's never been an engagement and you want to sell a $99 product, all right? It could be sexy, bells, whistling, and everything else. You may get 3 to 15% of the people to buy it, maybe. Usually you might get none. And this is powerful. Many of you think the money comes from the product. And you have to understand, if products are created by human beings, they're going to have some flaws. They're going to have some fallacies. Period. Engagement, it's about two people who engage. Charles and I didn't always know each other. I don't remember, but we engaged, I think, at church some maybe 15 or 20 years. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. That's it. And he offered his handout to me and said, I was the CEO of a nonprofit. Charles goes, look, let me help you out, man. You shouldn't be doing your own accounting. You should do this, that, or the other. And so we began to build a relationship. Now watch how cool this is. Charles, you could type in the name of the book for this gentleman real quick, because I know he's asking. It's Networking with Millionaires by Thomas Stanley. Okay, here we go. Now, watch this now. When you engage, now understand engagement. You have to don't let anything allow you to talk to someone else unless engagement's going to be a part of it somewhere. Okay? Some of you don't know it. When I receive email swipes, I know it's a swipe because I've already received 6 email messages from other people with the exact same message. So I know you don't really care about me, and it's not really to me. You get that? And if you guys get a message from me, I refuse to send an email message that says, hey, friend. I refuse to send a message that says, that's a templated one. It's got to have your name in it. I don't want to send a message if your name is not in the subject line or if your name is not in the actual body of the message. That's one thing. Because what I'm going to tell you is how I was able to generate tens of thousands of dollars per webinar, on webinars with less than 150 people. Engagement, it's going to require you to step out of your comfort zone. Stop trying to get through the outline. Stop trying to make sure you're politically correct and grammatically written well. I'm okay that you know that I'm human, that I might misspell. Yep. I'm okay with that because you probably have some fallacies yourself. And the sooner we get that off the table, the more we can build that bridge, right? Now, it gets better. You guys, I'm going to give you the formula, so you're going to be able to write it down. But as I'm giving it to you, I want you to understand this. You can do this stuff. You already do it with your ladies. You do it with your girlfriends. You see them and you go, oh my gosh, Teresa, good to see you. Hi, girl. That's engaging. Dudes, when the guys see each other, Charles, what up, bro? What's going on, man? Huh? Right? You get that thing where you just engage each other. It builds that camaraderie, that trust. It builds that thing where you feel like, okay, I can let my hair down a little bit. I don't have to be perfect when I'm interacting with this person. And I actually mean something to them because he or she used my name. When you see your best friend, when I talk to Charles, I don't say, hey, dude, man, when you get a chance. I don't do that. I actually call his name out. And I might get too casual and call him Chuck. I might call him Chaz, and he'll tell you that. And the power here, my friend, is what I'm about to show you now, you can do. And here you go. Ready? I'm going to start, write down why. Here's the why. The why is this. Why must you engage to increase more than double and often quadruple your sales? Here's why. Because a financial transaction is really an intimate transaction. People don't do intimate things with strangers. That's why when you're in a general setting, you don't know anyone, you don't talk politics, you don't talk religion, you don't talk sexuality, because you know what? It's personal. And what a lot of you guys do, you insist on making your recipients strangers by the way you wrote the email invitation, by the way you invited them to participate in your launch. You made it so sterile that there's no real you at this end, so they're not supposed to bring the real them, which means their credit cards aren't coming with them. Can I get an amen? Do you guys follow me? If you understand what I said so far on the why, right? Type in the number 1. Why? Because it's an intimate process. Engagement is intimacy, and no one will pull out their credit card or their money. They're not pulling their cards out with you if there's, trust me on this. You might get you might have enough money to buy the newspaper, but nobody's pulling credit cards out with you. No one. If there is no connection with you. Do you get this? Now, I can say that because I went from back when Charles and I hit that book, I was making about $100,000 a year. And that was a lot of man hours, a lot of being away from home, a lot of being on the road, to consistently producing 8-figure years with my businesses. And listen, to watch this now. Intimacy allows this to happen. I have many 6-figure earners who earn it from commissions that I pay them. Not because I'm beautiful, because I'm not. No, they know they matter. There's not a person that does business with me. This is not making me special. I'm giving you the formula because I make sure that I have an intimate relationship appropriate. So just in case some of you get a little crazy, intimate relationship with those that I do business with. It's just a rule of thumb. It's a biblical principle, if you will. Now, I know my eyes are kind of red, Charles. I'm tired. I started exercising recently. So if you want people to pull out the credit cards, when one doesn't work, they grab the next one. When that one doesn't work, they grab the next one. They keep grabbing credit cards because they want to get it. They want to get closer to you. If what you did was so good when you engage, when they get more of you, it's going to be even better. Psychologically, subconsciously, that happens. I know it because I do that. I'm a big James Arthur Ray fan. Man, as I go through his blog, I'm ready to buy the next thing. I'm just ready to buy. Ready for the next event, right? We all do it. Now it gets better. So we know the why. It's about intimacy. Trust me. If you want people to know how smart you are, then you quote all the data and all the statistics at them. You let them know how pretty your website is. And then you come back and you explain to me why my ugly site's going to make more sales than you every time. This is what it's about, man. It's about the people on the other end. And I trust you get it. So we know the why. Now, what's the what? Here's the what. The what is the engagement when emailing, when talking on the phone, engagement when you are after the person buys, engage them. If you only knew the mess that I carry in Skype, in fact, I know that they allow you to see that. I'm pretty sure. Yep. So let's just look and see together. Charles, let me know when you guys can see my screen. I'm going to show these guys something that's pretty horrific. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Charles?
Yep,
and
we
if
can
you
see
look, there's engagement all over the joint. I mean, some of you might know some of these people. Here's one guy, a good friend. Now, I didn't know this guy. I gave him a call. And some of you guys might know this guy, Alfredo Delgado. Last year, he was one of our multiple 6-figure earners in our direct selling company. This guy I met, Charles, when he came to our company and he was trying to sell it for $50. I was like, dude, you can make a lot more money and be a better person. I gave him a personal phone call and got to meet his wife. I even went to his home and visited him because I like to let's engage. If someone says they're hungry, he says, just teach me, I'll do whatever you say. And we walked together and he's a good friend now. He's invited me over to their housewarming party. I could go down the line. This thing is so thick. I hate Skype because I'm too busy. I am too busy, but I refuse to let you in my life if we're not going to engage. And therefore, you're stuck with me and I'm stuck with you. Charles, what do you know about this guy, Gregory? What do you know about that guy from PayPal? What do you tell me? Let's tell everybody what you know about that.
Yeah, I mean, he really is the difference between a lot of things. I mean, you hear a lot of people talk about getting shut down on from PayPal when they do a big launch or they do something unusual. Mm-hmm. That relationship has everything to do with that not happening. I guess it's a short way to put it. I mean, there's a lot of things we could say about that.
Yeah, but why are him and I connecting the way we do? I want them to see the connection between the engagement process.
Well, I mean, it's necessary to get to know each other on. I don't want to say on not just on a personal level, but that's what allows the business to happen, is to getting to know each other on the personal level. So
absolutely, so much so that it goes like this, Charles. I'm gonna switch back real quick. Yeah, it goes like this. So right here, you can see favorites. Favorites are people I have to engage with consistently, if not daily, at least weekly. Right? That's what this list is for, and it's a pain in the neck. But you can't have both. You can't be where I want to be and then treat people like, okay, now that we slept together, I don't know your name. We can't do that. I've got to engage. Some of these guys, you guys know, they have really big launches. You know who they are. Some of them are just friends of friends and blah, 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 blah. But now we have the recents. We have the recents past that. Now, I'm telling you now, the engagement process is something that it requires you to let go of thinking of yourself, because you can't be good at engaging. When you said the why is because there's no financial transactions without it. The other part is the what is it's engagement, but it's so essential that your engagement, it must include you forgetting about yourself. When you
Dwayne, let me say something right here, and because I know that there are people. And I would probably be one of them years ago if I didn't know you, because there are probably people you're probably looking and thinking, well, Dwayne's got this bubbly personality, right? And so that's not me. And so I couldn't possibly do that. And what I'll tell you is that even somebody who I'm a little more what I call professorial, right? I'm probably a little more, little more kind of up in the air. But what I think is that part about forgetting about yourself, that really is sometimes the difference between engaging and not engaging. Is you have to kind of get yourself out of the way, and you got to kind of get over yourself, because nobody's thinking about your flaws as much as you are. So if you think you got flaws, you think you don't, you think your voice doesn't sound good, you think you're not good looking, you think, oh, well, listen, everybody's carrying a few more pounds than they want to carry. Everybody's got a few more blemishes on their face. And so all of that stuff is the stuff you just kind of got to forget about, because nobody really cares about. And really, I'm telling you this because this is what my issue was a while ago. Nobody cares about that stuff as much as you do. When you start really engaging with people and you demonstrate how much you really want people to understand what you're saying because you care about them, they'll forget about all that stuff. They don't care about that. Really, you care more than they do. And if you can remember that, then you can kind of engage in your way, right? You don't have to engage the way Dwayne does. You don't have to engage the way I do. You got to engage your way.
You just said it right there.
You got to forget about all the stuff you think is wrong with you.
Well said. And you know what, Charles? Well, those guys don't realize there are people you'll be able to sell to and reach that I could never. There are people completely offended at me. I'm loud. I really get way too passionate most of the time. So it's not for everybody. And I know that. But the beauty is I can reach people that do want to hear from me, but there are people that you can reach I could never reach. The idea is, Charles said it, be yourself. Engagement doesn't require bubbliness. It doesn't require a sales process. It requires you to be you and engage. Because here's the deal. When you lose yourself, you are more proficient at whatever you're doing. When you're thinking of yourself, you're messing up. You're forgetting about the time. You're wondering if you said it right. You're wondering if your zipper's down. You're wondering, does it look okay? And you can't do a good job for people thinking about yourself. You are a poor representation of the people if it's yourself you think of when you're speaking to them. So, Charles, you remember we talked about the 18-40-60 rule? I think these guys need the 18-40-60 rule. It goes like this. When you think about the why engagement, you know it's because it's where the transactions come from, right? It's where the transactions happen. When you think about the what, it must be that you engage and that you lose yourself. And I recommend you lose yourself thinking about the 18-40-60 rule. And it goes like this. When you're 18, you won't do it because you think everybody's looking at you and everybody's going to say something bad. Everybody's thinking about you, right? When you're 40, you say, I don't even care that they're looking. I don't care if they think I'm ugly. I don't care if they don't like my big wide nose. You just don't care. When you're 60, you say, you know what? They were never thinking about me in the first place. And the difference is you can arrive to that conclusion right now. People have enough to think about on their plate. When someone's on your webinar and they need that new autoresponder tool and you have it, they're thinking about, if I could just get the one that's going to help me to reach my people, I'm on it. They don't care about your nose, your eyes, or your thick eyebrows. They don't care about any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And the power of engagement is you don't have to be anything other than yourself, but you must do this. Here we go. Letter A. Letter A, it's not engagement if you're the only one talking. So if all you're doing is talking and presenting, and they're not, I don't care if it's a conference call, webinar, but there's got to be interaction. Go through and watch any webinars we've done. You're going to always see us talking together. Whether you're typing the number one or someone saying, hey, I got that one, that was funny. Hey, Charles, why don't you smile? We're going to interact. I don't want to be on a webinar if it's one way, because here's the deal. I love symphonies, right? Charles, you didn't know I love classical music, but I do. I love all kinds of music, but I love classical music. I love the symphonies, the magic that happens when the strings are playing and the percussions join in and we hear the horns, we hear everything begin, and the organ or piano, and you hear it, and the cymbals. Oh my gosh, when this stuff begins to make magic, it creates this beautiful music that has a message that doesn't require words. The engagement process is similar. When there's sending and receiving, right, that's true communication. Communication isn't me talking and everybody listening. It's not. Communication it's a process where there's sending and receiving, right? So that's what's required. So letter A, you want to make sure that you're not the only one talking. There's got to be both parties communicating. How many of you noticed in our webinars, we tell you to type in number 3. Say yes. Letter 5. How many of you noticed that over the years? If you've been on our webinars long before, if you've been on for 5-10 years, you've noticed it's never happened without it. How many of you noticed it? Type in the number 5. Now I want you to get this, Charles. Many people get annoyed. They don't understand what I'm doing. But it's useless to sit up and have communication go in one direction because it's going to be a flop. I can't pour my heart out to you if I'm talking and you're watching TV. Mm-hmm. I can't pour my heart out to you if all I'm doing is caring about how I sound, that I don't ask you how you're feeling, if you're able to hear it okay, or even if it makes sense to you. I'm selfish if all I do is present. Not right, man. That's just not right. So now, letter A. What's letter B, Dwayne? Well, if you have to have both parties talking, right, you must have another piece to this. And this piece is really important. I see you, number 5. That's your validating the other person's communication. It's fair enough to me that you guys are validating us when we ask you if it makes sense and you type in number 5. Well, I need to say, well, great. Now that I see that you guys are getting, I need to validate and confirm I hear you. I hear you too. And in this process, it changes everything. Mm-hmm. This is how you can have 85 people in a webinar and still do more than $10,000. This is how you can have 50 people in a webinar and do $10,000. Crazy, right? Don't worry. You guys know Webinar Fusion Pro, it's not a selling feast. We do have offers available for you at times, but that's for you. It's not trying to sell, because I know everybody loves the big tickets. Most people can't do it, don't even get it, right? They just I want to sell something for $5,000. We're not here for that. We're here to equip you. So we often will bring tools and we often will bring truth and principles, but this is not, Webinar Fusion Pro is not a platform for us to bring to you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 products, or even 500. We don't do that. So now, I gave you that part. We certainly know that the engagement's important, and we say, we know why, because you can't get the buying process. No one's going to buy from you. Number two, we know what. It must be true engagement. That letter A that literally requires communication on both parties. We're going to let both people talk, right? And the second part, it requires validation. I hate it, Charles, and I noticed this at the event we were at in California. Someone says, right, that makes sense? Yes, I know it does. And they don't even let the people answer. You want everybody to, watch this, guys, and I want you to get this one. When you don't allow people, when you don't validate and allow someone else to respond to you, you've cheated yourself first in the buying process, and you cheated them. I can't believe it. I talked on the stage the entire time. I didn't let you interact at all. You were not a part of this. It was not intimate. It was just me getting you how great my stuff is, how cool it looks, and how much I make with it. But I don't let you play. Now it's over. I'm going to ask you to come to the table and buy my $2,000 package. That doesn't make sense to me. Folks, you could do so much better if you engage the people you communicate with. And it starts in email messages. If you don't believe me, what email message did you click on to get here? It was a personal message from me, even though I put Webinar Fusion Pro on it. It was personal. It included your name. It was personal that I gave you a chance to, watch this now, to communicate it back by clicking on the link. And when you got here, you guys know this. As soon as you get there, I go, what's up, everybody? Good to see you here. We'll start in 2 minutes. I start engaging you from the moment you arrive on our webinars, unless for some reason there's a technical issue and I'm late, right? We've had 2 of those. But typically, you experience that. Why? Because this, my friend, is something you can learn by observation right now. You want to give people a chance to, you want to ask them a question, let them answer. I hate that, Charles. You saw me at that event. My stomach was turning, right? Isn't that good? Okay, good. I'm glad it's good. That's not right. Let them answer. You see, now watch this beautiful thing. The when. We talked about why, what, and now it's about when. When do you start the engagement process? The moment you know you're going to have whatever you're having. If it's a launch, you start the engagement process in every communication that goes out. If it's a flyer, you make sure it's not just you talking. Interact, engage. If it's an email, engage. Find an application for the person, for the people. Interestingly enough, Charles, the first thing people do is they mentally cop out. You know what a cop out is? When you just kind of like, well, how am I supposed to do that with a flyer, right? Right? Depends on what you're selling. Are you selling something that has to do with health and fitness, right? Well, then engage the person. Struggle no more. Today, you can actually call this number and find out exactly our 1, 2, 3 step exercise formula for people 50 and over. Engage them, something about their life so it makes sense. To make the tie-in, you must engage. So here's the deal. We know the why, the what, now it's the when. When does it happen? The entire time of everything you're doing related to your event. Is it a webinar? When you start the invitations. Is it a webinar? The minute people arrive, you start engaging them. Is it a webinar? You do it in the middle. You do it at the end. You do it the whole way through the way you've seen us do. That's how you do it. Is this helpful? If this is helpful for you guys, let me know. I don't want to waste your time. I know there's a lot of you guys here. Some are shy, but for those that aren't shy, let me know if it's helping you, because I won't go too far in the wrong direction. Type in the letter Y if it's helpful, because Charles and I, this has been burdening our hearts for years now, and we just want to lay it down so everybody can get some. Charles, let me talk to you for a second while they're typing that in. The when really gets people, because people are thinking, okay, I got to make sure my PowerPoint's right. I got to make sure my outline's good. My microphone, do I sound okay? Oh, shoot, that pimple's showing up this week. Oh, my goodness. They're freaking out. Because in the process, they're thinking about themselves, how I look, how I sound, Is things right? And now this is stuff gurus aren't going to tell you this. Some of them don't even know it. Oops, I didn't say that. Right? You can take this stuff and run with it, but it gets better. The engagement process. Go ahead, bro. Sorry. Go ahead.
You know, Dwayne. I mean, you and I, we both have kids. A number of you all have kids, and I know some of you all don't. When your kids move from being children, where you've been telling them what to do, to teenagers up through adults, you really do have to start engaging them, right? If you want to, you can certainly tell them to do something and they will do it. But when you start to engage them and you start to talk to them about more than just what you're going to have them to do, you start to talk to them about what's going on with them. You start to talk to them a little bit. I think you'll find, and those of you who have parents, you already know this, when you're engaging your kids, they will respond to you and they'll do the stuff that you want them to do. You've been telling them to do a little bit easier when you've been engaging them. And that's something, and if you just take that same principle, lift it up out of your life and parenting, put it into this, it's the same thing. You already been doing this. You just might not have been seeing it as that.
Well said. And so many other areas too, Charles. It's amazing. People engage their best friends and they'll engage their dog and talk after kids or their spouse and think they got dysfunctional family. The engagement process affects everything. If it's not going to be intimate, you might want to get out soon. If you're going to waste the time to have children, you won't be intimate with them. You just come home to make sure their homework's done and leave. Trust me, there's nothing going on there. There's nothing new under the sun. This is a principle that has nothing to do with Dwayne Golden or Charles Harper. This is a biblical principle that's been here since the foundation of the world, since it began. That's it. I mean, even ugly, mean people like Hitler understood engagement enough to get the loyalty of people to do some horrible things. Mm-hmm. You have a good heart. You want to do right by your family. For goodness sakes, don't set out to try and sell people a bunch of stuff. Set out to engage people, right? And you can trade them this much money for a truckload of value. That's the answer. So Charles, I think it's time to put the icing on the cake with this whole concept so that we can be fair. And I'm glad this is helpful because I see you guys that it's helpful. And the cool thing is, Charles, they know we're not making it up. We're not just trying to come up with something because they watch us do it all year long. They watch us do it every week. They watch the same thing. And you guys have your own radio shows. I see it on Facebook. You got your own radio shows, your own talk shows. I'm going to tell you something. You want to be a great interviewer, right? People thought Oprah was magic. Oprah wasn't magic. She just understood the power of engagement. Tell me about your son. She had no problem doing that. She wasn't saying, hey, I'm Oprah. Did you have a magazine yet? No. She wanted to know about who. She engaged them. You can do this stuff. So let's get down to the money, Charles. You know, if you do the what, and you engage, and you know why to do it, because there is no intimacy there's no transaction without intimacy, right? And the intimacy is demonstrated through engagement. We know that. We know when to do it all the time. I could give an entire 5-hour webinar just showing you my last 7 days of communication. You wouldn't believe it. And that would be Google Plus, that would be inboxing, that would be Facebook inbox, that'd be everything. If you saw it, you wouldn't believe it. Anybody can get 100,000 subscribers. Anybody can't keep them. Everybody has lists. Many people they get a list, they have to go out and they have to go buy another one because they can't keep people. I'm proud to say that many of you here, you're not new. We've known you over the years. Some of you, we just met this year when we opened up Webinar Fusion Pro. But it's not like we're fishing for new people. We're trying to love you while we have you here. We're trying to provide you and equip you while you're here. So let me get on because I don't want to get distracted. I know it's Monday Night Football, guys. I'm almost done. Chill, okay? Oh, Pittsburgh Steelers are playing.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is all right, yeah.
San Diego, baby. All right, so here we go. When it comes to this whole concept of when, I covered the entire time that you're having the event, whether it's a sales page, it's a launch product, if it's a webinar or a live event, I did mention that. But the engagement continues after. It continues after. If not through you, at least through extensions of you, it must happen. It's key. When you launch a product and you sell things, if all you have are the new people that are coming out, you've got a really bad system because your bucket leaks so much by the time you get to the next product, you don't have any repeat business. Without the engagement process, you'll be like some of these marketers who have to launch every 3 weeks because they don't know this stuff. And so in launching every 3 weeks, they have to keep getting new people. Sometimes they have carry some over, but trust me, the engagement's powerful. So it also happens afterwards, after people buy something from you. By the way, Charles, isn't Monday Night Webinar Fusion Pro the engagement that goes on after we sold it months ago?
Yeah.
Right? And we could have just done one webinar like many companies do. People that have a webinar system, they'll launch it and they say, okay, we did a webinar for it. Go watch the recording. No, every week we bring to you that value we're talking about it. And you can do this. So now, I was headed somewhere. I don't want to lose my thought on it. In this process, you're going to love it. There is the, I said, I'll give you 3. The number 4. We heard the the why, what, and when. And now it's all about the outcome. If you didn't know this, write this down.
It's the how.
It's the how, but watch this now. The E plus the R equals the O. That's a Jack Canfield statement. The event plus your response to it equals the outcome. So I'm going to tell you something. You've heard this tonight. And I'm going to tell people what's going to happen, Charles. They ain't going to believe it. And it goes into the lines of the how. When you start applying what we're talking about right now, here's what happens. You're going to create for yourself a momentum that's going to be almost impossible to keep up with. You're going to create what's called raving fans. You're going to have people that love you for you. They won't care that you're not so attractive. They're not going to care that you have a wide nose like me. They're not going to care that you're balding and turning gray. They're not going to care. You're going to find out that we live in a world where most people are hungry to even hear their own name said once in the day without it being negative, without their boss calling them, Harper, get in here, right? Your spouse calling you, you said you take out the trash, Charles. But to have someone engage them using their name in a positive light, you don't realize how many voids you feel. And this creates that momentum that I'm getting ready to share with you. It creates something. I don't have that Skype looking like that by accident, or my iChat or my inboxes. They're flooded because I insist on this engagement. And it creates so much more work for me, but I don't mind it because it allows me to reach out and touch people all over the world. Here you go. The momentum is such that when you begin engaging people, many of the people that purchase from you, whether it's an affiliate product or not, they're waiting for the next good thing you're going to bring to them. And only part of it will be because of the good product. The other part is they're going to be able to appreciate you. So I'm going to tell you something. If you don't like people, sales, internet marketing stuff, I would say it's not the best place for you, because the way to become great, if you want it to happen without waiting 10 years to learn it, is to make sure you apply the engagement process, because without being an expert, you can grow the fan base, subscription base, and you can have people that you can interact with. Now, if you forget the number after the sale, ladies, hey guys and ladies, how many of you know this? Well, if someone invites you out to eat and they want to go to dinner, and then all they really want to do is spend the night with you, and then they forget your number, don't know who you are, we know how ugly that is. It happens every day around the world in internet marketing. Once the sale is made, they don't know you. And I'm going to tell you something. Differentiate yourself, because I could tell you story after story, like Lisa, Ben, there's a ton. And they all were always customers at first, and they became friends. What's the most important thing to do to anyone in the world? Use their name, of course. That's why I get disturbed, Charles, when you guys I get emails from some of you guys that don't even use my name. You just gotta say, hey, you, hi, friends. I don't have time for that. I get too many messages anyway, so do it. So here's the deal. The momentum, watch this now. There's a buying momentum. Ready, Charles? And it's used in church everywhere around the world. When you walk into church, or you walk into a public setting. They go, okay, everybody stand. Give a moment of silence for our soldiers if it's in a stadium. Okay, you can be seated. All right, we're going to do the wave now. Everybody do the wave. Right? If you're in church, they say, everybody stand, turn in your songbooks. Sing this one. Bow your heads, let's pray. If you were in college, you're in the auditorium. They do the same stuff. Okay, turn in your chemistry books to page 403. You get people in the momentum in the process. So when it's time for the outcome, it's a cinch. Watch this now. Here's the deal. Let's say, guys, I'm just using an example. I don't want you to take it the wrong way. This is not a religious call, but I want you to understand this. If my heart's broken, just experienced horrific divorce, I'm between jobs, I'm foreclosing, they're taking the house from me, and I go to church. And when I get there, people start engaging me in the doorway. How are you? What's your name? Dwayne. Oh, Dwayne, are you from the area? Yeah, I'm from the area. Well, is that your son? Wow, he looks a lot like you. They're starting to engage me. They want me. I'm feeling like I belong, even though I've never been there, right? Some of you guys have experienced this. Then I get in there, and everyone stand, right? Everyone sit. We're going to welcome our guests. We have some guests. There's a guy here, Dwayne. I think he said he's from the Middletown area. Good to have you and your son here. Good to have you guys, yes. And okay, they're reaching me. They're engaging me. Got my name mentioned. We're interacting. And watch how powerful this is. Then we're going up, stand up, shake hands with everybody before we start. And when it's over, they say, if your heart's heavy today, come forward. We want to work with you. We'll have someone up front that's going to pray for you and walk you through something. We have counselors that will help you if you're having financial trouble. Guess what happens? I'm there. If they were all strangers, I would never go up front. But because they insisted not to allow me to be a stranger, I'm there. And what's crazy about this is the sales process is the same way. It's not about you getting a product from me. It's about me having a hand in that life change that you're going to have because it changed my life, so I'm sharing it with you. So yes, I'll engage you. It's so funny, Charles, when our webinars begin. We go, man, hey, Neil, it's good to see you, man. Ed, yep, we're going to start in 2 minutes. Hang in there, guys. Yeah, whoa, Jennifer. All right, it's good stuff. Ow, man, unbelievable. Good to see you, too. When we do that, we're not playing. It's genuine. I love people. I just think that the world's a great place because there's so many in it. It'd be kind of boring if it was just us, you know? So anyway, the momentum that you desire is what we call the buying momentum. When someone attends your webinar and they're engaging from the email, and when they get there, they're going to be eager to hear you, and then you start engaging them, asking them their insight or to give you feedback, you're talking to each other. Then during the middle, they say something and you validate them. You validate them during your webinar. That's a good question. That's not the answer, but that's a great question you wrote. And let me respond to your questions. I think your question's great. Validation, so essential. You're doing that. Then by the time you're making the close, trust me, because we know each other and you allowed me to participate the entire time, I don't mind participating now. I'm going to pull out one of those credit cards. I don't mind. It's a $30 product. So far, everything I got was good. And when I actually had something, they validated me too. I'm a part of it. You created what's called a buying momentum. This is done in live events. This is done in webinars. It's done. But I don't think a person deserves to sell on the reputation of hearsay that the product's just so great. I can tell how good your product is if you give me some of it now and you're talking to me. In your email message, in the way you treat me, that'll tell me a little bit about the quality of your product. And I know people don't like to hear that or don't want to talk about it, but you deserve to hear it. I don't think that's right. You're arrogantly going to tell me how great your product is. You don't have anything to do with me. And then if I get in a webinar, you blatantly will drop an F-bomb at me because I didn't understand a question. All that kind of stuff doesn't have to happen. Now, buying momentum will keep your bank account churning around the clock. Buying momentum doesn't just happen in webinars, doesn't just happen in live events. It happens in email messages. Over the past week, Charles, I think I got a step-by-step training for ranking sites because some people couldn't afford to buy the one, right? So got a video and PDF, sent it out. I started getting, hey, thanks, man, that product's pretty cool so far. It gave it to us. I was not uncommon to say, here, when you're doing a video, do it this way. Send out something of value, engagement throughout the year, and occasionally make some offers, do some engagement, make some offers. I think even today I gave a free private Facebook group, or I'm going to if I didn't. You're going to get it eventually. It's probably scheduled to go out today. And the power of that is this. Learn right now by the example that's put before you. You don't have to have 5 different webinars or have 5 launches or 5 email messages bomb and make no sales. You can start caring about the people on the other end now. And I know some people in our industry will tell me that I'm full of crap. They think I'm too mushy. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I've been able to create multiple $million systems that create every day for me around the world over the years. I'm not going to be flashy. I'm not going to call myself a guru, but I'm saying that because I want you to trust what I'm saying. I want you to trust it. Many people think I'm full of it. They think I'm giving too much money back. They think I lose too much gross. You know what gross is? You know, Charles, they tell me I lose too much gross because I get too involved with the people. This is how it's done. This is how it's done, and you can do it. Tonight, we wanted to share it with you. Charles, I think I'm done. By the way, before I turn it over, Charles, I turn it to you, I would ask these guys, give me, if you have an aha about something tonight, something that you have your own epiphany tonight, something, any one thing that we talked about that was helpful for you, type it in the window. Charles, while they're doing that, while they're doing that, give them your feedback. And you know, you and I, over the last decade, this one conversation comes up many times a year, and we wish there was a way to get it to people. So tonight we did. Tell me, what is your feedback? And I heard a lot of it already, but just want to hear it.
Yeah, and it's a universal principle in business. I know a lot of people will talk about Amazon and how big they are. It's really not a mystery, right? This is the same engagement process as what Amazon is doing. When you come to their website, they're trying to talk to you about something that you want. They're trying to personalize your experience. In their emails, they're trying to talk to you. They're emailing every day, and they're telling you about what's coming. Now, you might ignore all of their emails, but the fact of the matter is the one you see is the one they're telling you about something that's coming. Hey, something really exciting is coming. And then when you get to the website, hey, you know what? I just saw that in the email. And so all of these things, the companies that are very successful, it's not a mystery. And so all these things about engagement, I swear to goodness, if I can do it, I mean, I know you can. You do not have, again, and I really want to stress this to you. Your job in trying to engage people is not to be anybody else but yourself. If you can just really get it into you that nobody cares about your flaws or anything that's wrong with you except for you, and you just put yourself in there to help people, I mean, I can tell you, you're going to see results. I promise you that.
Well, Charles, you know, and we may have overstated it. I don't think so. Some of you guys are going to do this, and you're going to see the change right away. You're going to like, dang, thank you. You're going to give a great testimony about it. The info about the engagement via flyers and other non-live environments was, oh, good. You know, let me tell you something, Ed. I've been able to fill hotel rooms with flyers because I engaged the people, you know, and I didn't just like put the information. Here's what you don't want to, you want to be guilty of. You don't want to just give people information because then you take yourself out of it. So here's the deal. Charles, I think about how I use flyers in the past, and maybe this will help you since you're thinking about offline things. You find a way to make sure you have a call to action and you engage something in that person's life. Don't refer to how good your product is. Refer to something in that product, right? So if you had trouble fitting into that dress to attend that wedding or graduation, or maybe you needed to fit that tux for your son so-and-so or something like that, find out how you could literally lose 3 sizes literally in 7 days. And this thing you don't want to miss, call this number or come to this event that's at the local hotel. It's free. You don't want to. Now, I've given them something about their lives. It creates the trigger in the engagement. Then I gave them a chance to either show up or click. Wow. Yeah, good stuff, Ed. Neil, thanks to Wayne Charles. Excellent content. Thanks for, yeah. Well, let me tell you guys this. If you don't do this already, most of you have Webinar Wealth 101. If you don't, the process is already there, and you can go to it. Charles, I'm gonna answer this last one. You want to Jerry? Let me see here. You guys can go out to Webinar Wealth 101. We go over the engagement process, which you see is extensive in detail in a course where it's based on webinars, but it works for everything. Okay. Jerry says, excellent presentation. Thank you. I'm more of a technical than a people person, so it was very enlightening. Oh, good. With each point, I could see how you and Roy Jr. and Charles practice these principles continually. I can also see how some other IM people try this at a much more superficial level, and some don't at all. Wow, what a very observant there, Jerry. But the cool thing is, even being technical, you can do it from your own standpoint, and engagement doesn't require a butterfly's, what do you call that, social butterfly. You can just be genuine with people and include them in your communication. So good stuff, Jerry. Rod, okay. I think I realized I need to acknowledge people who give likes and never say anything. I bet they are waiting for me to speak the first word. Yeah, when you do that, that's a good thing. When you do it, don't make it public. You know, Charles, how about this? Isn't it amazing what people never see that makes the whole thing turn anyway? People don't even realize what goes on behind the scenes. So I know 99% of everybody in Facebook wants to do things publicly so they can be seen, right? But there's nothing wrong with taking a very good quote that helped you in your life and going to someone's inbox and saying, I don't want to be presumptuous, but if this helps you in your life, it helped me. Nothing to sell, buy or anything. Just want to encourage you. This helped me. If it helps you, good for you, right? Not on their wall. No, in their inbox. Make it personal. It's amazing. People are using robots, Charles. I get inbox messages by robots that now go into new Facebook spam. You get all kinds of junk. But if you guys really want to do it, I'm going to tell you one of the best ways to really become good at this. Just insist on not using a swipe again unless you're going to rewrite it. I think it's dangerous. I get those, and I'm like, I'm not interested. I mean, it sounds cool, but I'm not doing it. I'm not. And maybe everyone's not going to do that. But I'm not going to get 6 messages from 7 different people that are all saying the same thing. Change it. Make it your saying. Make it your message. If the message has 3 paragraphs in the swipe, give me your own 2 messages. Break it down and change it. Good comments, though. I don't know what your comments are about that, Charles, but it's not hard. You don't have to be in the public limelight to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, your job is not to advertise what you're doing, and I mean, Facebook is what it is, and social media is what it is. And we're all in business, right? So I think we can all be real with each other here. Wouldn't you say that everybody on social media, for the most part, is advertising? And so if you and I are going to have a personal conversation, you don't need to advertise that, right? I mean, some people are advertising that they have a great family, right? Some people are advertising that they are good friends with people. And all that's cool, right? It's got its place. So again, you don't want to use a place where everybody's advertising to make a personal connection. And so what I'm saying is it's cool to do that, but go beyond that, right? Whenever you can.
Well said, man. You know what? I never thought about that, but certainly it is advertising. And you'll find, in the Bible it teaches that what you do in private, you'll be rewarded openly, right? That whole concept. I'm going to tell you something. Some of the most greatest gestures you'll ever do, no one needs to know that you've given $10,000 to some corporation. No one has to know it, except the people you got it. And you're going to find this is going to help your business out. If you can really just work on the principle and let the rest take care of itself. This is Dwayne Gold and Charles Harper tonight. We're sending you lots of love and wish you an amazing week as you get out there and you begin to continue working on improving your businesses, improving your bottom lines. In the meantime, have a great night. And you can go to webinarwealth101.com and you can actually get Webinar Wealth, or at least look through and see all the stuff we teach you there, because we can only do so much in 1 hour. But in that way, you can have the course. In the meantime, God bless you guys. From Charles and Dwayne, take care.
Take care, guys.